We are starting the Pappas tour, and let's take a look here. And there is a meeting. A lot of food. Like Pappas, Christina Pappas.
I called Lawrence June up, and I said, Lawrence, being center, tell me what you think could happen the rest of the year. I'm confused. He actually gave me numbers higher than this and for 2025, but he's readjusted, pretty much saying what you already know. 3% up in existing home sales, so a little bit better than last year. 5% in new homes. Median price of a home is flat, basically. What you need to look at is next year. I do think we're turning and nobody knows it. And I do think we're seeing improvement, and the noise is there because you're just starting to write it. And I do believe the second half is going to be better than people think. We'll beat last year dramatically. And I promise you this, when I come next year, the numbers will be stronger in 2026 than they are in 25, 24, and 23. So we're starting a trend upward and a cycle that will last probably 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Saying all that, guess what? It's not ever going to be, I may not be here, maybe in my daughter's lifetime, it's never going to be 21, 22. So, right.
But you don't want it to be.
Right, stand up and say that.
But nobody, but we don't want, oh yeah, he always says it's not going to be here. They're like every summer is his last summer.
Well, when you get old, you start thinking about it.
You never know.
Next year, you never know.
My friends are going, it's starting to scare me.
We don't want it to be a 21 again.
Yeah. But why? Why is that, Chris?
So, anyone remember what percentages people were offering, what commissions people were offering in 2021? Yeah. What? 2%?
1%, 2%.
Why were they saying, oh, I was a seller? Right. Because you didn't have to do anything. And if we have a market again where sellers think you don't have to do anything, I don't have to pay anything, then are we still around? Maybe not. But Mike says this a lot, and we said it in multiple different cycles of our businesses. Here's the seller's expectations, here's reality, and in between is your commission. In 2021, here's the seller's expectation, here was reality. So there was no room for commissions, right? You didn't have to do anything because you would tell a seller, oh, it's worth this, and they go, wow, really? And so that's happening. Then we don't have our job to take them through the market.
So this is the catch. The sellers net, and I've been doing it for 45 years. Probably 2 years have I gotten where the sellers got more than they thought they were going to get. The rest of the time, every seller I ever mentioned wanted more than the property was worth. So that's how it is. If they knew the number, they would sell it to the fast buyers. But the fast buyers, they never want to accept the number that the number is. So what you get paid for is time to educate the seller with information and data for them to finally accept the price that they're going to get. And that takes months, takes sometimes years, and it takes communication, and it takes meetings, and it takes data, and it takes information, and that's what you're getting. So when you sell a $800,000 property, we were just in the office the other day, Miami Beach. Guy sold a $7.1 million deal. I said, what kind of commission did you get? He goes, well, they only offered 2.5, but I told my buyer, I had a signed buyer agreement for 3. He had to pay the 0.5% difference. I said, did he? He goes, yes. So the guy got $7 million, 3%, $200,000, $210,000 commission because, one, he was strong enough to ask the buyer, but 2, that's the value that they gave him for bringing that deal together. So to get that type of money, you need to be able to move to it. So I do think if you look at 26, he says it's up 14%. Prices are back. New home sales are up 5%. Prices are starting to rise. And this is the other dilemma. How many of you bought your home before 2020? How many have a home buy? What's the price done to that home? How much more is it worth? Double or more. So just think about that. Stay with me on that. This is the problem. Is if in 2019, if I bought $1 million home and now it's worth $2 million, something's wrong. That can't keep going. That's too fast, too much, too rich. That's a 15%, doubling your money in 5 years is a 15% appreciation. So typically, properties appreciate at 4 and 5%. That takes 15 years. So we did in 5 years what they normally would take 15 years. So anybody gamble? You want to admit that you gamble? I mean, Brian, do you gamble, Brian, or no? Not anymore? No. Okay, good. I'm proud of you. So so if you go to Hard Rock and you got $1,000, Ron, where's Ron? Here. Ron's gonna tell me. Ron does it better than me.
All right. I like to spend the night at the Hard Rock, have an evening, go out with my buddies, right? We go to the table, we sit down. 45 minutes later, I'm up $2,000. It's a good night so far. But we got the whole night planned. I'm only 45 minutes. We got some more hours to sit and play and drink and have fun, right? So you sit at the table. They bought the house. They lived their family. They had babies right away. 45 minutes, we're up $2,000. They're up 2 kids, right? The time goes. Yeah, they go to high school, etc. I'm still playing. They're still living there. Now it's a couple of hours. The sweetheart's saying, where the hell are you? It's time to go. So now I cash out. Now they're ready to sell the home. They didn't sell it 2 years ago. Now they're ready. Everything's in order. They're ready to go. I cash out. I walk out with $1,200 in my pocket. I'm a winner. Hey, Marshall, last night I won, baby. $1,200 up. The same thing with the house. They didn't cash out 2 years ago when we were buying them on video chats, right? They're selling now. They lived their life. They had the parties. They had the Christmases. They had the Thanksgiving. And now, this is the price. You bought it for this. This is the price. You won. We're a winner. It hasn't been like that. With the prices appreciating.
So hear what he says. Rather than saying you lost, you've got to switch your dialogues and say you won. You've got to make the seller believe they're winning, which they are. They may not have won as much as they thought they were, but they're still winning. Does that make sense? They're still up. I told somebody, long story short, but and the second thing is if they don't sell today at a lower price than they want, what you need to say to them, you bought it for $1 million, you thought it was worth, I wouldn't even say you thought it was worth $2 million, and I'm selling it we got an offer for $1.8 million now. So you're up $800,000 on the tables. If they turn it down, what the line you need to say is what just happened here, Mr. Seller, is they gave you the $1.8 million, and you decide today to buy your home back for $1.8 million.
Do you really want to do that?
Would you buy the home you bought for $1 million now for $1.8 million? What would most likely they say? No. But that's what you're doing. So maybe you need to give it to them to move on to do what you need to do. Because that's what the second thing that we heard about selling is the sellers, when you list the property, one of our top producers says, you no longer own the property. So you say to the seller, when you're listing the property now, you're giving it to the market, you no longer own it. So now it takes it away from being personal. So now the market's going to set the price, and we're going to see where the third is get a price range. So don't go in and say it's worth $800,000. Say it's worth $700 to maybe $900. Or $650 to $850. So it's a big range. But what you're doing is you're anchoring the low side. They're not going to hear that, but you're anchoring the low side to come back to them to bring. Remember when I met, I showed you this piece of paper. We said it was $650 to $850. We listed it at $890, and then you're going to have to work them down to $790 and maybe sell it at $700, $750. But you're anchoring the low side. Does that make sense? Because the sellers still want to hope that they're getting more, but then you've got to bring them down in time. And so those are the thought process. I don't know if they, and then the price range we talked about. One guys raised his hand and says 5.5 to 6.2 million is what I told him. We listed it for 6.7, and our first offer came in at 5. And the second thing is he says get all the offers in writing. There's brokers that are saying they'll never take that, don't waste your time. I don't care what it is, at what price, tell them to put it in writing, because that starts setting the seed. Even if they don't take it, the next time around, you're laying the seeds along to it. And then the last thing is, don't ever let a deal die. If you've got a deal on paper, in writing, keep going back, keep calling the people back until they buy another one, or until that house sells. Try to keep it alive. I don't know, Chris, do we got anything else?
To talk condos?
Okay, I don't want to talk condos. So what percentage of your business is condos, Marco?
70%.
Yeah, so the dilemma that you're in now, let me just be real, and this is it. This is the problem. We want to be the heroes. And so we want them to say, you're wonderful, you did great. You're not the hero today, you're the doctor. Do you love your doctor? No. You probably don't even like your doctor, you know what I mean? So, but your doctor does what? Tells you, Christina says Christina's pregnant, and the doctor, we don't want to talk about baby stuff, but she had consultations with the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you can do this, but you probably need to do this, because I've seen this before. And Christina goes, okay, I'm going to take your what? Advice, because you know what you're doing and you're going to help me.
Right, so I always say, like, you have a broken arm, right? You're going to the doctor. What do you want the doctor to do? So when you want to fix it, right? I think most of you said fix it. Some of you are like, look at it and then call it a day. You don't want him to look at it and say, wow, that looks like it really hurts. Does it hurt? Does it hurt when I touch it? Oh, I'm so sorry. How did this happen? Okay, well, we could put it in a cast, or we could see how it goes. What would you like? Does the doctor do that? No. So when we go, what is the seller calling you to do? Sell the house, right? Sell the house, usually they're calling you to sell. So why do we go in and say, oh wow, yeah, the market's not so great, I know, I wish the price was higher, but well, we could try it a couple weeks if you really want. Yeah, let's see what happens. Does the seller really want you to do that? No, they want to tell you, what's the market, how bad is it, and when is it going to sell? So to Mike's point is, it's a range. They may not want to hear it right now. You don't want to hear, it's going to be in a cast for 8 weeks. I don't know if you're like me. Whenever the doctor tells me, I'm like, but like, how do I have it in 6 weeks? You know, I'm always trying to figure out, like, let's shorten it. But regardless, they may not want to hear that now, but it's what they really, truly called you to hear. They called you for information, right? They want to know where the market is.
So data is your friend.
At the end of the day, how do you give them that information? So what data do we use? So I've been using for condos, to go back to your condo world, I've been using SunStats. It's here, listed here. I can't remember.
How many of you use SunStats? S-U-N-S. All right, Carlos, Ryan. So how do you use it, Ryan and Carlos? What's she showing?
Door knocking, let's go for door knocking. You could, the area you go into, you have the price point, and then you could have that as...
You have the market overview and big picture. Right. It's a big picture approach. So what number do you got to put in there, Chris?
You have to put in your license. So you have to have a real estate license. Everyone's got one? Yeah. All right. So it's a joke. Not a good one. So you have to put in your real estate license, and you're going to go.
So stay here. Well, show us that first page.
That's it defaults to Florida.
Okay, so showing Florida. Remember what I said? Closed sales to stay there. 23,800 compared to 23, so up 2.8. We said it's kind of flat. You have your cash sales, median sales price a little bit down in Florida, 3.5% down. Average sales price a little bit down. Dollar volume. So we're in a flat market. List to sell 95.4 compared to 96.4. Days on market, median time to sell, and new pending sales. So a lot of data, but pretty much it's telling you what you know. It's kind of a flat market from last year. But go ahead.
The best part about this, and this is what I've been getting some calls about the condo market, because we like to say.
So here she just put in Aventura. So she shows a map there of Aventura, and now I can look at price. I can look at things. So she's hitting townhomes.
And I'm going to go to all the ever pending months supply of inventory, right? But what I'm going to do instead is give us some clarity on what this really means, because the media I think has taken, hundreds of thousands of dollars off the price because of the way the media is portraying this, right?
Okay, so she just, while she was clicking everything, she went all the way back to 2008, which is the Great
Yeah,
Recession.
It's funny,
And she's,
some will pull, it depends on when the MLS started.
so she's showing you month's supply back all since 2012, it looks like. Didn't go back to 2008.
Right, so it didn't go to 2008 because he didn't.
But there's this say here. So here's a chart of your inventory by month supply of Aventura condos.
Yep.
Would that be a good chart to show somebody when you're going on a listing call in Aventura? So that's what you use this for. It's not you saying it, it's them saying it.
Right, so the reason the media is giving us a bad rap is because look at 2022, where we were and where we are now. But guess what?
We're the same as we were.
We've been here before, everybody. This is nothing new. So what I hate, what I don't love is the media saying, this is a crisis. Well, okay, you didn't say that in 16, 17, 18, and 19.
It's just it's the delta between where we were and where we are is what's scaring everybody.
Right.
But what it's back is kind of normal to where it was. You guys have a lot of inventory normally in this market because there's a lot of condos and they're sitting a little bit more, so you're dealing with that.
So here's the other thing. If I pulled, and I don't have to do it for Aventura, but I pulled it for all of Southeast Florida because there's certain markets I can get back to 2008. And it's, in 2008, it was double this. It was double.
30, 40 months supply.
So again, this is in 2008. We were short selling, and this is very much a market that happened 6 years ago. We just don't want to remember. But here's the catch, and this is what I will say this about condos. It's bad. It is not that fun to list a condo.
How many of you
right?
own your own condo? Yeah.
Okay.
So how many of you, this will be interesting, so we got a third of the people. How many of your condos have reserves now, 100%?
Not 100%.
Okay. Anybody have reserves?
Yes.
Okay, a few. How many of you have done the study and are starting to put the repairs and everything else on? So what's going to happen is you're going to have A condos, B condos, and C condos. You're going to have those condos that are doing the right things, that are newer, that are cleaner, that are nicer, and the public's going to go, that's better value than those that are junkier, that haven't done it, that haven't been maintaining it, and they're going to get hit accordingly. And so it's kind of like, how many do commercial real estate? You say it's an A property, it's a B property, or C property. You make adjustments to that, and that's what's going to be happening in the condo world.
Right, but at the end of the day, it's another normal market. It's just how we present it to the seller, right? So, and what you're gonna need to find in the condo market are motivated sellers.
Right.
Right, my grandfather used to say you have to like rip open their shirt and find the M on their chest. What is their motivation, right? If they're not motivated, there may be an alternative here, and I think we have
Mark's
Mark
right here.
here. Mark Pania from Property Management to say, you know what? Let's wait this one out.
So if they're not motivated and they don't want to take the hit on price, what you need to say is let's rent it and wait for 2-3 years and put it back on the market eventually. You know, and that's so Mark, can you help them?
Yeah, 100%. You guys have been to my class. I've explained the whole property management aspect. You guys have seen the back end of the software to know how we help out owners. So the most important piece is getting in touch with that owner, helping them understand. I think you guys said there was a 4-year property on the market.
Inventory.
We were in Miami Beach. We had an agent who kept a listing for 4 years. She kept the listing for 4 years just by communicating. She's like, I just communicated every single week what was occurring, what's going on in the building, how it's happening. I often say, you don't lose a customer by over communicating. You also don't lose like a spouse or a friend by over communicating. Like, oh, I thought you said this. Well, so I'm just saying communication's key here. But Danelle said she just kept communicating. But in the 4 years' time, it was rented out. They were able to make money, and finally, it got to where they were ready. The motivation finally kicked in.
And I'm married to her mother for 45 years this week, and I still can't communicate all that effectively.
I'm just grateful we're in Dade County now, so carpooling has come to an end. Just those conversations while I'm in the car are not so fun. I don't know, Christina, is that what I said? I'm like,
My
this is
point
my
is
childhood.
you need to be really clear in your communications with your sellers at this stage of the game. So what can you do to help them
So
help
just
them
get me in
out.
touch with your client. We'll sit down, we'll talk to them, talk about strategy and how we're gonna organize and maintain their property for them. You know, it's the best way to keep it in touch, and then we always keep you guys in the loop. When things are happening, you guys are gonna find out when we need to rent it out again, so you're gonna gain your commission by renting it out again. If the tenant wants to leave, we often tell them to go to you guys, so you guys get that commission as well. And then if you guys, who uses Rent Spree here? Anybody use Rent Spree? No? Okay, so we found a lot of errors. We have some people in the north who had some felonies and they used Rent Spree, and the owner became very upset with the situation, so we want to stay away from
We had a
that.
client that was doing drug deals in the home, and he was a convicted felon, and it missed it all on the report.
Warrant out for his arrest.
So our
The owner was a
software,
little upset.
So we say, for an extra $10, make sure you're not putting the felons in your property, okay? So myrentalscreening.com is a $10 difference, but I think your landlords would agree it would make a difference to know exactly what criminal background.
And don't take their
The other
report from
agent's
them.
application. So here's the issue we're seeing, and I always say in a tough market, you see a lot more lawsuits because people are looking for money one way or the other. So if you screen a tenant one way and you receive an agent application one way, and then another tenant you ask to send other information and they send you something different, you just discriminated against one or the other because the landlord did not screen them exactly the same. So my rental screening, ask your landlord if he's comfortable having all of his tenants screened this way. Put it in every one of your lease listings and make sure that you are covered, your landlord's covered, and that everybody's following the rules. It gives you only the information that you're allowed to have, doesn't provide social security, so on and so forth, and really make sure they're not all screening companies are created equal.
we're the
So just remember.
highest screening possible before getting a hard pull. So we're at the top, and then making sure that everybody's the same. It's so important because even at that, if you get a screening from somebody else, you don't know if they did scrapbooking. You guys know what scrapbooking is? Yeah, start cutting in pieces, right? And putting in their own types of things. So there was an agent out of Kai's who was doing that. He told me, can I pull out the police report from this? And I said, no, you can't do that. He's like, oh, okay. Because he didn't want to give it to the owner. But that's not our job. Our job is to give that information to them so we can treat everybody fairly and the same.
Right. Yeah, and then the other, what about the rentals, improve their credit?
Oh, okay, tenant credit boost. So if you guys have tenants who are trying to buy, but their credit isn't spectacular, then what you can do is recommend tenant credit boost. They can pay for the service and it'll start to increase their credit because they're reporting their rent. How much is the average rental in this area here? 3,000, 3,500? Yes? So imagine, putting into their credit report a $3,000, $3,500 payment on time every month. That helps out. Plus they can go back 2 years if they pay for the service. So going back 2 years and reporting additional credit, if you get an extra 30, 40, 50 points, now you might be at a better qualification, better interest rate. Now it's possible to purchase because it's a lot less requirements for that buyer.
Javier?
Yes, sir.
Does everybody know Javier?
Yes.
So, does a 30-point, 40-point FICO score make a difference on interest rate?
Absolutely. The higher you have your credit score, over 620 or higher, the best interest rate you get.
If I have a 580 compared to a 630, what's the difference?
Difference in
Interest.
oh, brother.
So 3/8 of a point?
You're looking at least 3/4.
Yeah, 3/4. Hear what you said.
3/4 of a point.
If I have a low FICO score, I'm going to pay 3/4 of a point more than if I have a better FICO score. So this is part of your helping the person get a lower interest rate along the way. Yeah, so can you look, so how many of you have buyers? How many of you have buyers who are saying, yeah, I want to buy right now? What are some of the buyers saying? I want to what? I want to steal. Okay, they may be able to get a steal. Are other ones saying I want to wait? And what do they want to wait for? Yeah, so interest rates go down. So this is what I can start telling you. Christina, 2 summers ago, told me interest rates aren't going to go down, Dad. And a summer ago, she told me interest rates aren't going to go down. I'm telling you, this is it. You might as well just start. It's been 3 years of everybody hoping interest rates are going to go down. I don't know how long you want to wait, but let's assume they're not going to go down. Okay? So you've got to make hay with the interest rates you got. But if you have a buyer, interest rates are about 6.5 today, Javier.
Yes.
So if I have a buyer, could I tell my buyer, hey, if I could get you a 5.5% interest rate, would you buy today? How many of your buyers would go, yeah? Could you give them a 5.5% interest rate today? Yes.
Yes, you buy points.
She's good. So what would that cost me, Javier?
At least 3.5, depending on the credit score.
So listen to this, a $700,000 house, you've got to get the seller to give 3.5 points toward the buyer, he or she gets a 5.5% interest rate. So you can make an offer today and say to your buyer, you got a 5.5% loan, we're gonna get the seller to pay a credit toward you, and you can buy this house for 5.5%. Everybody's going, wait a minute, what's the catch? I mean, do you follow it? So this is the answer. Don't wait for the market, create the markets. Javier, can you help them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If you're asking for a buy down, I discussed this with many of you here in the office already. They can do this for a 2-1 buy down. They can do a complete buy down if they want to. There's going to be a cost. The seller can pay for. The customer certainly can pay for. It doesn't make any sense. But if the seller is so really enthusiastic about moving the unit, then they will contribute towards this buy down. And not only that, they can get a 2-1, they can also get a 1 complete full percent of the rate. Depending, every single customer is different, every single case is completely different. So if you have any customers that they want this kind of like discount on the rate, just let me know. But really, honestly, I don't have problems with customers on rate. My customers are coming, what's the interest rate today? Am I giving them what the rate is? 6.99, 6.8, depending on the rate of the day. And they are fine. People are, right now, they're getting on their head. There are no more 3%. There are no more 2%. Right. Those days are gone. And some customers coming to me, they're asking me, I have a 3% mortgage on this home, but I want to buy that one. Can I get that rate? And the answer is no. And they guess what the answer is? Okay. Okay. Buyers buy in a buyer's market. Get that really, honestly, all the time.
Hear that again. This is a great line. Buyers buy in a buyer's market is just a buyer's market. Yes.
And hear what he just said. I think that's so key. He said, they asked, I have a 3%. Can I get that over there? What does he say? No. What do we say? Oh, well, it's just a different market now. Things are, we take in a question and we turn it into an objection. A question is just a question, right? Can I get that right? No? Okay, figure that out. Again, if I'm asking the doctor, hey, you need the cast for 6 months? You need the cast for 6 months? Can I do it for 3? No. Right? Again, very cut and dry. This is the market. So we have to stop hearing questions as objections, answer them, and then overcome when there are objections. Well, I don't want to buy because of the rate. Okay, now we can have a conversation. But just because they ask what the rate is, doesn't mean they're objecting yet, right?
I guess only one more point that I want to make to all of you. I have a case with a different realtor, and they're asking, they have a customer, they're meeting the customer face to face, and they're telling the customer, do you want to buy a home? But rates are horrible. I can't buy a home right now. I'm not going to buy a rate. And the realtor was like, oh yeah, that's right, I agree. Guess what a guy's realtor does? The rates are high, I cannot really buy a house. The guy's realtor goes like, it's a buyer's market. Now's your opportunity to buy a home. The home you wanted to buy 6 years ago, and it's out of the market right now, now you can buy it for a very similar price. Get optimistic. I don't lose actually customers on rate. Okay, I do see customers getting on the fence because the offer gets accepted.
So this is the answer. You're not the expert on financing, he is, and so you need to get this. How many of you raised your hand and said you had a buyer? I want you all to have a call with Javier this week. And just you gotta get the dialogue. I'm not gonna show you this, but just scroll up a minute, Chris. A 2-1 buy down costs 2%. $14,000 of an $800,000 price, and it actually saves the buyer $733 a month. So I mean, you start.
But if you took that off the purchase price, it only saved them $84.
So if you saved the $14,000 off the $800,000 price, it would save them $80. If you give it to them in the payment on a 2-1 buy down, it saves them $730. On a permanent buy down, $16,000 saves them $232. So if you want to start playing with math, he's got very good creative. He's got grants for first-time homebuyers. He's got Hometown Hero. You can make the market, but you need to engage the client to create the market to get what he wants or she wants in this type of market. Is that?
Yeah, and also, for the ones that they have listings, I didn't put this 100% on social media, but if you want to get a hook on customers, okay, and your seller is giving a contribution, do not enter on the listing. Seller is giving $10,000 for closing costs. They already know the numbers, 10,000. Put a percentage, put 3%, 2%. That will create really some kind of like question to the buyer. What's 2% of 200? What's 2% of 900? They call you as the experts and you're gonna look great. So once you have that, you have the hook, then you can talk to the customer more. That's what I do with my customers, 2%, and they always ask me, what's 2% of this amount? And I look, great, explain, okay, 2% is this amount, let's move forward. So that's a great tool. Don't use a fat simple number because they already know. Just give them something that they can ask you more.
So, and then the last on the buyer side, make offers. We were in a Wellington office. She said, I just did a $2.1 million listing deal. I said, what was it listed for? $3.3 million. So I told you that we listed a property for 6.7. The offer came in at 5. So you got to start going like, wow. I mean, that's a big $1.7 million gap. And guess what? They did the deal. They didn't take the 5, but they worked it out to finally take it 6 weeks later.
What usually happens when you have a customer looking at a house and they want to make a low ball offer? What usually happens?
The owner that resented
You call the other agent, right? And you'll say, hey, I'm gonna make this offer, and then what happens? Don't bother. Don't worry. And then what do you say? We shouldn't make the offer. And then we move on. You still write it, Carlos. So there you go. $2 for Carlos. You always write it. You always. Who cares? How about this? What's the lowest? Anybody got a listing right now? Okay, Carlos. Give me a price on one of your listings.
260.
260,000. What's the lowest they'll take?
230.
No way. Lower than 230. No way. I bet your seller will take lower than 230, right? So what's the lowest the seller will take? Lower than whatever they said.
Yes.
Always.
You hear that?
Right? What's the highest the buyer will go?
Higher than the type.
Higher than whatever they told you. It doesn't matter until it's in writing.
Right.
And that's the catch
So you
here.
get them in, once you get them writing it, once you get the negotiations, you'll make a deal. If you don't get in writing, if you don't start negotiating, you're not, it's funny, I said this on a tour. I started in our Fort Lauderdale office. I've been reminiscing. I was selling a property on the New River. This is 1980, so a long, long time ago. And it was a cash deal from people from Michigan. Long story short, back then you negotiated back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That night, you'd go to the seller, they would initial it, you go back to the buyer, they would initial it, you go back to the seller. So the seller was a Frenchman, he goes, 168, Mike, and this is 45 years ago. I'm not coming down by. I went to the buyer, they go, we're not giving them 168, we're gonna offer 164. And I'm thinking, okay, so I initialed it. And I start to head over, and I'm scared. I'm a 21-year-old kid, and they go, and there was phones, pay phones back then, and there was a 7-Eleven, and I was near their house, and I'm thinking he's going to yell at me. I called him from the pay phone, and I said, Mr. Seller, I know you told me not to come back unless it's 168. I have a written counter offer, but it's not what you want. Come on over. And I remember then, he lied to me. I mean, he told me that, and he signed it. And so the story is, you don't ever know. I'll finish that story. They brought 5 grocery bags of 10s and 20s of $168,000, $164,000 at the time, and they said they had gotten it from their father. So yeah. I don't know. I remember, oh my gosh, you're a peddler? I mean, am I supposed to arrest you or what? Yeah. So that was the early stories of 1980, why you can't get cash deals today. So those are the deals. So we talked about build facts, so giving information. How many of you use list track on your properties for sale? So Brian, how do you use it? And what is it?
It's analytics that shows the activity from like your website, Zillow, and all this stuff, and just takes all the frustration off your back. So if you want to get a price reduction or showings and everything. And
Give him $2. So hear what he said. It shows. So how many of your properties aren't getting shown? And the seller said nobody's looking at it. Is that true? No, because they're looking at it where? Online. To thousands of people are looking at it. Hundreds of people are looking at it, but nobody's what? Coming. So you use the data to say, we're getting it shown, but your property isn't priced right enough. There's no hook for them to come see it. We need to make a reduction to get those lookers that actually come face to face. Is that how you use it?
Yeah, that with the sun stats and then
Give them data and information. So another one is build facts. How many of you use build facts? So does everybody know Carlos? He gives us the bouquet. He's got the $2. So Carlos, tell us some about everything.
Still married, and I don't build. Sorry, she's not here, so I can say that. Build facts. Who's using it again? How fast are you guys getting it?
2 minutes.
Awesome. How are you guys using it? Anybody want to share how they're using it? Listing appointments, Carlos? All right. You already got $2. I got no more money for you. All right.
I give it to the seller.
You give it to the seller on the listing appointment.
Well, I already have the listing, but I wanted them to see
Awesome.
what are the permits
Right.
they have,
Awesome.
the age of the roof.
Yeah,
and
have the
all
information.
all the work.
Anybody using it with buyers?
Yeah, I do.
What happens when you show up with your buyer?
No, it's for my knowledge, so I'll know what
So
to tell
you'll
the buyer.
know, right? Because the buyer is interested in knowing what? The age of the roof, maybe?
Right.
Listing agent has no idea.
Correct.
Seller says, I just did the roof. When you look, it's 20 years old. So on and so forth. Yeah, because everybody just did everything, but it's, 20 years have gone by. So the build facts, you guys get them. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, because I see some new faces, build facts is like Carfax, but for buildings. It's a great report. You guys get it very, very quickly. You get it for free. Mike says it's company paid, which it is, but you guys get it for free. You send an email on the QR code at the bottom. There's the email. If you just click on the email, you can set it up.
You look
anywhere in the
build facts,
country.
You separate yourself from 99% of the other realtors. Nobody has that data. Nobody has that information. You're going to find out if the renovations were permitted or not. You're going to find out if they got open permits. You find out a lot of information.
Absolutely. Another way we're helping you guys is pre-listing inspections. It really, really helps to set yourself apart. There's a lot of listings you may have a listing and around it, there's another 3 or 4 homes for sale. If you do a pre-listing inspection, you get 2 valuable things that you probably don't know about. Number 1, you get a warranty with the pre-listing with us. So what does that mean? You basically get a 90-day mechanical, structural, 90-day plumbing, 90-day mold, and a 5-year roof leak warranty that all transfers to the buyer. So if you take the listing and a week later the air conditioner stops working, you've got a remedy, you've got a solution for them. And if the buyer moves
So if you're listing the house and you do a pre-inspections and the air conditioning goes out, you pay for it.
I don't personally, but yeah. We Go on, Mike.
Somebody pays for it.
Somebody pays for it. There's a warranty in place. We file the claim. They come out and they repair and replace it, included. So the 5-year leak warranty is really cool because a year later, the buyer now owns the property. The roof has a leak. They pay a $300 deductible for a $4,000 repair per occurrence. So that's pretty cool, and that lasts for 5 years. The second thing you get is the 4-point in the windstorm. Anybody lost a deal because of a 4-point inspection? Nobody? You guys are the only ones? Yeah, okay. The 4-point inspection is the one that if the roof is leaking, if there's a problem with the electrical, you're not going to get insurance. Well, we do those reports with the pre-listing, and we can put them in the new buyer's name for up to 3 months. So that really gives you a whole different thing, because the buyer may bring an inspection company that creates this crazy report. And then lastly, I wanna make sure you guys know that buyers are asking for ridiculous concessions, and even if I am not on the deal, I will help you. Send me the report, let me go through it, I will then send an email or make a phone call. I've gotten a $30,000 concession being asked for by a buyer, down to $3,000-4,000, because that's reality. And that really changes the deal and lets you guys get to the finish line. So call me, even if we're not on the deal, I'm here to help you guys with anything you guys need, okay? All right.
Tour.com, go to that, guyspapastour.com. It's the same as the QR code that you should scan.
Yeah, or the QR code that you
And it
just.
shows this, it shows it here.
Guyspapastour.com. It says Pappas Tour Resources, everyone clicks it. And then you're gonna scroll down past all the slides we just talked about. You're welcome to download any of those. And there you're going to see Open House app iOS or Open House app Android.
Open House Android. Open House
Apple is
Android.
iOS and Android is not Apple.
Hopefully, one of those will help. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling.
So hit that and you're gonna download the app for the open house.
Yeah.
So this is the question. How many of you hold an open house and use paper? What do you do with the paper after you hold the open house?
We call everybody on.
Throw it away. She's honest.
Call everybody on.
You're supposed to,
So how
Belina.
do you call, so here's my miracles that have to happen. You have to find the paper after, because, you know, like, I was really tired after that open house. It's also really hot. I picked up my signs and I threw them in the car, and then I went somewhere. Oh, it doesn't work? Oh, this is the first time we've tried that. That's too bad. Okay, go to your Play Store and download Kai's Open House app. So
Go to the app and do Kai's Open House.
So
Go to your app store.
Yeah, just go to your app store and look at Kai's Open House. But now you have all the resources on your phone. All right, so then I had to find the piece of paper within however many days of the open house. Then I had to decipher what that person's name was, right? Or if that person was actually just writing Mickey Mouse. Or if that phone number was a 7 or a 6 or an 8 or a 9, right? Like a 1, is that 1, is that a 7? I don't really know. And then the magic would have to happen. I'd have to actually call them. So, most likely, I wasted a lot of Saturdays and Sundays because I would never do any of those things. Your open house app takes all your customers' data information, and as soon as the open house is over, they get a lovely letter from you, thanking them for coming to the open house. Here's some more information about the property you just viewed. And even better, it sets them up on an automatic property search for similar houses in that area, all thanks to your curated AI search. How's that sound? A little better than a piece of paper?
So this is what you need to be saying. I've got to be collecting debt. So when you hold the open house, you go, I don't want to hold an open house. I don't want to waste my time. It's not going to, and they're not going to buy that house. Probably true. But what you can get is neighbors, other agents, listings, other buyers that are coming in. Show them the buyer app that the one later.
We have in one of our offices, we have an agent who says, I not only use that app, I take it a step further. I have this buyer's guide with me at the open house.
These are all, you need to get on this thing and just click on everything and look at everything.
By the way, all of these resources are in your company cloud on Kai's Connect. So if they don't work here, they work at Kai's Connect, and Charles can help you. So I go to buy, she says I pull out the buyer's guide. She has some printed, but if she doesn't have them printed, you see it's on here. You go to kaisbuyerguide.com or whatever the little link is there. And she says to people who walk in the door, hey, are you working with a realtor? And what do people say? Yes. They don't know their name. They, you know, hey, my server last night on dinner was a realtor, so I'm just going to say I'm not doing a realtor. Great. So then she says, have you signed anything? And what do most people say? No, because we're in Miami-Dade County. So only they say yes, and I'm always amazed at how well they are up there. So she pulls out a buyer's engagement letter and the buyer's guide at the open house. Because let's be honest, at open houses today, for 2-3 hours, you're maybe getting 3-4 people. So you have a little extra time, right? So she'll say, hey, here's what I offer my buyers, and here's why I ask my buyers to sign something. And so she'll click through. She goes through an entire buyer guide. Here's step by step what we need. It's far for you guys to see, but it's on the link. here's what we need to do, here's the consultation, budget factors, estimated expenses. Here's
So
the
all of a
next thing
sudden,
we
she's
do.
taking control of the buyer with knowledge and experience.
That buyer that has a realtor, right? And she said, it's funny, sometimes I don't get them to sign the agreement right on the spot. Sometimes they come to my next open house and sign the agreement. But she's double-sided a deal and have found 1 or 2 buyers just by this process at an open house.
So you're gathering data, you're inviting the neighbors, you're sending call or fetch around in a mail out, you're meeting people, you're engaging them, and you're picking them up in your database. That's why you hold open houses. It's like having your own store, and you don't have inventory, you don't have to pay for overhead, and you don't have to pay for rent. I don't know. I'd be engaging with some people out on the street rather than waiting for them to call because they're not going to call in this market.
And you can customize these booklets and create as much individualized information as you want, or you can use them as is, whichever you prefer.
So hit on
We
one of
have-
the luxury
We
ones
have
too.
like a luxury pitch book, right?
Right.
So again, and this is not just, this is all things.
This is for a listing. You go for $1 million plus listing. So it goes over the history, power and numbers, shows a little bit of what luxury we're doing, what we've sold, 16 million, 9 million, showing that we're selling big properties, where you're going to get the Forbes media and the social media, connected locally and globally, I mean, nationally and internationally. Forbes is the #1 trusted name. Go back. So this is the catch. Christie's and Sotheby's, the consumer in the public, 4 out of 100 know that name. 3 out of 100 know that name. 80 out of 100 know the Forbes name. So when you go to them and say you've got the exclusive for Forbes, they get that way better than they get the other brands that they may mention, and it shows you there a little bit more. So it's a very powerful tool as you go through, and it positions you selling high-end stuff that I think can lead you to bigger dollars and bigger cents. We just had $7 million deal in Miami Beach.
I think the key here is you have so many tools at your fingertips. And we started this with, yes, it's a grinded out market. Yes, properties are taking, 6 months to sell, right? But you have the tools to back you up to get those things sold. And it's just about putting the pieces together to stay a step ahead, to give them the data and the information that they need. So we have the seller's guides, we got first time buyer's guides, we even have a coloring book. Does anyone know we have a coloring book?
Yeah, for kids.
For your
Is that on
kids,
there?
or at a closing, you can bring them to open houses.
Is the
you can
coloring
print
book on
them.
your list here?
The coloring book is on my list here.
So they got, all right, so you're good
Yeah,
at this.
so there's
You ought to go on the tour with me some more often, you know?
So you have a lot of, it was here, maybe it changes every now and then. But you have a lot of, here we go. This is cute. I mean, this is like one of
So here, this is a coloring book you can order, and it talks about moving into a home, what does Florida have, and so, and the kids, right.
But regardless, it's about setting yourself up
Invasive space.
and making sure you have all the tools.
All right,
So,
wrap it up, you got it,
last but we talked about Forbes. It's a little bit farther away. So October 8th, 9th, and 10th. And my Friday email, I know it's long, but it has everything you need. We're offering a discount for the Forbes conference. The Forbes conference is October 9th. On the 8th is property tours. The conference is taking place in West Palm Beach at the Four Seasons. On the 8th, we'll be doing some of our
is it West Palm or Palm Beach Island?
Sorry, Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Yes, Palm Beach Island. For the Four Seasons Palm Beach. And so on the 8th, we have a couple of our high-end listings up in that neighborhood. We'll be doing tours. If you like to do content or want to go see some of those will be free and open for you all to attend. The 9th is the conference, and we have a $50 off coupon code going into the newsletter on Friday. And then on the 10th is our annual golf tournament. I know we don't have a lot of golfers down here, but if you have customers who are, we're playing at the PGA National at the Champions Course. So you have that coming up, but even sooner, Mike and I have been talking a lot about Ninja. We have mini ninjas in the house. This is a market in which it's time to refocus. Would you guys agree? Yes. So if ever is a time to go to Ninja, when this starts thinking about it, it's today, because today is the last day to go to Ninja. Today's the last day to sign up for Ninja. Today's the last day for early bird pricing. It is going to
How
be-
much is it? It's $800 roughly, and they pay $400 and we pay $400.
Correct.
And then we give them back the $400 when they add in the next 2 deals.
Right, so really you only pay the 400, right? So your only out of pocket is 400. Most of the time people are paying full price to go here. I think it's 400, 450. We have it, but it's in 2 weeks at Miami Lakes Hotel. And we have a couple more seats open, so if you wanna sign up, we have signups for today. Last chance today.
Who's thinking about it?
Tomorrow, can I go? And I'm gonna have to say no, because Ninja's not flexible. And you can go.
Well, they can pay more tomorrow.
No.
Today's the last day.
For Miami, it's closed tomorrow. They could go to Palm Beach if they could decide tomorrow.
Anybody thinking about it? Just put up your hand. You're thinking about it? Anybody else with Carlos? Help them do the carpool from here. Hi, Carlos.
So Carlos is driving alone, so sad.
He signed up, he's going.
I would think if you're in the business and you want to make it go, I'd probably think you need to sign up.
All right, wait. Mike,
What did you just say? Say that again.
in this, we got the first 15 minutes.
Went to
The
Ninja.
producer Frank, 38
This
millions.
is for the newbies. I'll do it when I start over again 1 year, right? So he actually said he went one time, didn't listen, came back to his business, went again, started to implement it, and this year he's pulled $33 million and paid off his home mortgage.
Yeah.
So it's special. If he could do it, so can you.
Right.
Yes.
And it's just a tweak. It's costing you $400 if you want to get serious about doing something different. And what's different in this market is because it's not COVID, where we're selling them and standing in line. That we got to win the buyers a little more. We got to have those words to say to keep them on the hook when you get the lead, to meet them at the property, to have a conversation with them, to say yes, it's me. So I'm saying, I'm imploring you. Who else is now considering?
Yay.
All right. So that's 2 more. If it's not everything, Christina, Mike, and I said, put in for I'll give you your money back. Mike,
You're giving it back.
go and do
Go
it.
back, yeah. A design plan that will make you successful. This gives you the design.
And this is how, and not just, so she handles our social media, and their intern Claire, who was here last summer too. But we have a full PR team with them. So if you have a listing or a buyer that might be press worthy, send it over to Marketing at Kai's, and the team can look at it. We can look at it if it's a Forbes worthy press, if it's just internal press, what that might be. And then each week on my weekly newsletter, you have an opportunity to send in things that you're doing as well. So take advantage of that and we get it out to press. We utilize whatever is sent in through my newsletter link also for press opportunities. What's her name? We thank you for being here. Thank you for having us.
SEO with your
The
name
new
and
system, the new KV Core.
No paid team accounts, no paid team
It's
web
really,
pages.
so what we're doing is we're gathering back the data. At the time we left, we were fencing your listings in because of the Realtor.com and Zillow were starting to steal our listings. We wanted to boost yours and keep control. This does that, but gives us the data with maps, with where we're going in the future. We really think it's quite something. Has anybody seen it here, Charles? What do you feel? Is it upgraded or no?
I've talked to a couple of agents here and there. Don't stress. It's easy. You're gonna like it. It's very intuitive. It's much easier than what we're
My
using
favorite
now.
part is there's a search bar.
Yes.
If all else fails, there's a search bar, right? And we're building out the Kai's Academy, so when you search prospecting, all of our prospecting tools come up with videos of how to use them and what they mean. So it's a labor of love for all of us, but it will be really, really cool. We did pass these out. Did everyone get one of these? All right, so the pass is in a koozie or keychain and whatnot. So if you don't have one here, raise your hand. I'll get you a couple. So these are seed packets, and they are the little house is our seed. So you take the house out and you bury the house, not the packet. Okay, bury the house.
Kind of like the St. Joseph. You can turn it upside
Yes,
down.
St. Joseph's, right? Okay. You water it, but since our theme is rooted in legacy, and our 99 years, as many of you know, we're getting to 100, it says, this seed pack is a symbol of what endures. As you plant these wildflowers, may you reflect on the roots that ground us, the stories that shape us, and the legacy that blossoms through each of us. And so Mike has said, although my daughter was at the last tour, so you like this. Mike has said, if you bury it, and you water it and flowers grow, you've got to send him a picture of it and he'll pay you money. And my daughter comes up to me, she was at her last one because it was my husband's tour, and she says, so if I put this in a thing, I can send a picture to Mike and I can get some money? Can we get some money if I put it up here? And I said, yeah, you can go and get a pot of that. Okay, I take a picture and he gives me money? Okay, kid, she was listening. So, bury it, grow some flowers, give it away, but just a little thank you to you all for being part of our legacy.
So who's left on here? Mario? Yep. Getting to go to the award meetings this year, so congratulations on your business. All right.
You could just drop it.
Don't tell HR. Very nice. So many of you say, 3 of my 4 grandparents were born in Greece.
The Greece tradition to break the plates.
1878, 1885. One of my grandparents. Both of my parents were born here. My father had an American mother, so I never learned Greek. So I know a few words.